Hello and welcome back. In today's video I'll demonstrate some of the general wiring principles associated with zone valves or two-port valves used here in the UK. Although multiple valves can be used simultaneously, we're going to start by using only one zone valve for clarity. I should mention at this stage the zone valves in the UK utilise 240 volts alternating current, and any attempt to work on these valves should always be in conjunction with safe isolation methods before attempting to work on them. Also, the wiring connections in this video refer to the normally closed type of valve as opposed to the normally open type of valve. Let's start then with the zone valve itself, and as you can see, the electrical section of the valve has 5 wires attached to it, and if we look at a diagram of the internal wiring, this is the layout that is most commonly found in a normally closed zone valve. Looking at the wires in a little more detail, you can see that the 5 wires have the colours blue, brown, grey, orange and green and yellow. After the wires enter through the head section of the valve, you can see that the brown and blue wires, which are live and neutral, are joined to the 2 cables that supply the motor. The orange and grey wires are attached to the micro switch, which is just an on-off switch and essentially just joins these 2 cables together when the switch is pressed. Finally, there's the earth wire, which is attached to the metal housing of the valve. The head section of the valve then consists of the motor, micro switch and a spring return mechanism for when the valve needs to be closed. So let's wire it up from beginning to end. This is a line diagram which you can refer back to while we now start adding the wiring. Because there are multiple cables to be installed, it's best to use a wiring centre where all the cable connections to be made, such as this one here. With the electrical supply fully isolated and locked off, I can now start following the line diagram and adding in our electrical cables. It all starts with a form of isolation, and in this case I have a fuse connection protected by a 3A fuse. This then supplies a live, neutral and an earth for the rest of the heating system to be added to. Firstly, a live and a neutral connection are supplied to the programmer to keep the clock running. When this particular programmer tells the heating or hot water to come on, it supplies mains voltage to either pin 3 or pin 4, or to both if heating and hot water are required at the same time. If we just use pin 4 for our example, when the heating is switched on, I need to provide a live supply out from pin 4 to the next control in the sequence, which is the room thermostat. This then becomes the live in connection for the thermostat, and that is connected to pin number 1. For reasons I won't go into in this video, this thermostat also requires a neutral connection to enable the room thermostat to be anticipated, and the neutral connection is attached to pin number 2. Next, pin number 3 on the thermostat is used for our live supply output to the next control in the sequence, which is our zone valve, provided of course that the thermostat is set to a high enough room temperature. As we've already seen, to operate the zone valve, I need to continue our live supply to the brown cable of the zone valve, which energises the motor. The zone valve motor also has to be connected to the neutral supply, so I'll connect that in as well. You've now seen that there's a grey cable and an orange cable that supply the final connection to the boiler. So I firstly need to attach the grey cable to a source of constant power, and the easiest connection for this is our main incoming live supply back in the wiring centre. When the microswitch is operated indirectly by the synchronous motor, the constant power source is now allowed to continue through the orange cable to enable our boiler. This is also referred to as our end switch. Now, instead of a boiler, I'm using a lamp to represent the boiler being switched on. Now, I've omitted some of the earth and neutral cables on the wiring diagram just for a bit of clarity, but don't forget to connect any relevant earth or neutral connections. So here it is, all wired in sequence. I'll switch on using the fused spur. Then I'll bring on the programmer for the heating. Now bring on the thermostat. The zone valve energises and brings on the boiler. And of course, if I switch off the thermostat, the boiler goes off. Or if I switch off the programmer, the boiler goes off. And that pretty much concludes this look at the wiring for a zone valve. However, I will go even further in the next video where I'll start to add more valves and more controls. Before I go, I would like to mention that there are a couple of caveats to do with operating boilers and pumps, which deal with pump overrun and permanent power supplies. But again, that would be the subject for another video. Okay, so that's it. And if you managed to stay to the end of this video, I hope you've enjoyed watching or maybe even learned something. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you'd like to see more of this type of video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.